US President Donald Trump claims the US is winning the war by a lot, says Iran's military is weakened and the blockade is costing Tehran $500 million daily, warning it will remain until a stronger deal is secured. Iran Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf rejects negotiations under pressure, warning new military capabilities are ready if diplomacy collapses. Tehran considers sending a delegation to the Islamabad-led peace process as Iranian officials weigh diplomatic participation against regional tensions and the demand for a permanent end to the conflict. US President Donald Trump says delegation led by Vice President J.D. Vance with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner will held Iran talks, signals readiness to meet Iranian leadership and warns of consequences if no deal. Islamabad prepares for the second round of US-Iran talks with 3 US advance teams arriving, heightened security in twin cities, red zone restricted, transport suspended, and offices and schools shifting online. Iran reopens Tehran's main airports after weeks of war disrupt air travel as authorities move to restore operations across the country. Shipping traffic slows in Strait of Hormuz, Iranian media reports, with minimal vessel movement amid rising tensions and blockade concerns. Russian Foreign Minister and Iranian Foreign Minister hold high-level talks on preserving the regional truce, with Tehran promising to secure Russian shipping routes through the Strait of Hormuz despite rising maritime hostilities. Hungary's Prime Minister-elect Peter Magyar says Benjamin Netanyahu would be arrested if he visits Budapest, citing an active ICC warrant. US forces seize Iranian-flagged vessel in Arabian Sea as images emerge and legal concerns mount over blockade at Strait of Hormuz. US President Donald Trump warns of military escalation if the Iran ceasefire collapses, saying bombs could follow if talks fail, while vowing any new deal with Tehran will be far stronger than the 2015 nuclear agreement. US President Donald Trump declares Israel never pressured him into war while warning Iran will never obtain a nuclear weapon, as the president calls for regime change in Tehran and dismisses media coverage and polling as rigid narratives. The US will host a second round of high-level talks between Israel and Lebanon this Thursday, with Washington acting as the lead facilitator to secure regional stability and resolve long-standing border disputes. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi and Deputy Prime Minister Ishaq Dar discussed regional tensions and ceasefire coordination in a call, agreeing to maintain close contact as diplomacy intensifies. Iran President Masoud Pezeshkian condemns contradictory US message as a demand for surrender, asserting that Tehran will not bow to coercion as mistrust continues to stall regional peace efforts in Islamabad. US forces ordered 27 vessels to turn back from Iranian coastal waters as the naval blockade intensifies, forcing ships away from key trade routes to enforce maritime restrictions amid heightened regional military tensions. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif chairs high-level meeting with Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar and Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi, driving efforts to sustain diplomacy and bring Tehran to negotiations. Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi holds talks with Iran's Ambassador Raza Amiri and U.S. diplomat Natalie Baker, focusing on regional developments, cooperation, and security arrangements for upcoming talks. Chinese President Xi Jinping calls for Strait of Hormuz to remain open and urges immediate Middle East ceasefire, while China's foreign ministry backs U.S.-Iran talks and calls for restraint after ship seizure. Lebanese President appoints envoy Simon Karam to lead negotiations with Israel, aiming to end hostilities and deploy the army along recognized borders, while engaging the U.S. on sustaining the ceasefire. Iraqi officials announced the reopening of the Rabia border crossing with Syria for fuel exports, establishing a road-based alternative to Gulf shipping routes as maritime disruptions continue to pressure global energy flows. European Union High Representative Kaja Kallas warns that regional wars must not overshadow the Palestinian crisis, as a new report estimates Gaza's reconstruction will cost $71 billion. Apple CEO Tim Cook will step down, with hardware chief John Ternus set to take over as chief executive from September 1st, the company confirms. Formula One approves engine rule changes from Miami Grand Prix to fix flaws and improve safety, increasing power output and adjusting hybrid systems. Rapper Cardi B threatens to cancel her final Little Miss Drama Tour stop at Atlanta State Farm Arena, accusing venue staff of disrespecting her team before ultimately performing and vowing never to return to the arena.